Good love, our gracious queens, our true outrageous queens, their time has come. United Queendom.
For the first time in United Queendom history, I'm giving an episode 10 out of 10.
No way!
10 out of 10, bitches. 10s, 10s, 10s across the board. This episode gave me life.
Oh my, and RuPaul wasn't even in it. OMG.
Well, she was in the video bit, and they still do, you wear it well, at the end.
They did, and I have to say, well, I'm going to give it, an 8.5.
Oh, you do like an 8.5, I knew that. But Sam...
Okay, shut up, I love it. I'll give it a 9.
Round up. But what was wrong with it? Because I think a 10 out of 10 means perfect episode, and I cannot fault this episode.
What was wrong with it? Okay, well, the only things I would say, because you say that on our sliding scale of 1 to 10, that 10 is the best Drag Race episode of all time.
No,
right?
10 is not. I would say 10 out of 10 means it's in the top 10 best episodes of all time.
Oh, okay.
Which I'd say this is, for me.
No, I still give it a 9 because I didn't know the guest judge. And,
she was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She was one of the Oompa Loompas.
Charlie and the what?
She's in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She was one of the Oompa Loompas.
No, she was not.
Well, she looks like one. She was the lesbian one.
No, they all look the same and they're all male. I mean, God knows how they reproduce. But actually, no, I think they're cloned. Anyway, that's by the by. I just didn't know
No,
who she
she's
was.
lesbian, not bi.
And obviously there's... she's Les the Les. Les Dawson. Or is it Les Dennis? Anyway, no, because I don't know who she is, because I didn't know, because there was, and I don't know, it wasn't perfect for me, but I loved it, so that's why I'm giving it a 9.
A 9 is good, and yeah, for me, 10 out of 10, that would probably be the only one I ever give on the show. So, to celebrate, I'm having a beer today, and because there's no water here.
Woo! Congratulations!
So, if I start slurring halfway through the episode, I apologise.
There'll be no change there.
Usually I start at the beginning. So,
and it is Brighton Pride weekend as well, so cheers.
Brighton Pride weekend, yes. And I've got a mention later on for a special episode we're doing, but we'll get to that. But let's focus on this episode, which starts with Tainomi gone. No more Tainomi. So that's already a positive, as her decline was a little bit depressing, I thought. But I had a little bit of tea from a dear listener, Benti, about Ilona last week. So, remember when, before the lip sync, she didn't want to do it? Well, apparently what we did not see, what was edited out, was she actually refused to do it, and the judges had to remind her of her contract that she signed, and they threatened her with legal consequences to force her to do the lip sync.
Oh my God, because she refused to do it against Tainomi because Tainomi is such a legend?
Yeah, and I think friends with her as well. I think she knew her before I think they all know each other. So I think she really didn't want to lip sync against her. So when they say don't fuck it up, they mean legally. Like, you have to do this.
Because we'll do you. We'll have your guts for garters. I think, but also I think that's ironic that happened and then she smashed it, though. That's quite funny.
Well, I think she was contractually obliged to smash it. It's probably in the small print. Not only perform, but it better be good, bitch, or we're suing your ass.
She could have thrown it. I mean, she could have easily thrown it, but she didn't. I mean, so actually, I just think, I'm not being funny, but Ilona is a fucking drama queen. And, I mean, I know this is 10 out of 10 for you, and I'm sure it's the drama that adds to that as well, and it does for me. But, honestly, when they got back to the workroom, it was like, do you know that scene in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf's dead and they all leave they all come out on the mountain and they're all crying and it's like the worst thing ever. It was like that. They're all literally weeping. Then they go, it's like a family member, but then they stop short of saying a family member dying, because I was like, Jesus Christ, people, this is Canada's Drag Race. It is not Lord of the Rings. It's not, Schindler's List. Jesus.
She's Bilbo Faggins, maybe. But,
Bilbo Haggins.
But actually, we briefly mentioned on this last week, and it's probably not a good thing to speculate about the status of the contestants, but Ilona has actually come out as trans. So we didn't know.
Oh, really?
She kind of mentioned last week about being representative, and we didn't know what that meant. But since she filmed the show, she's fully transitioning now. And she wrote on social media, because she's been getting a lot of hate, as you are now giving her, Sam. She said part of the reason she was so bratty on the show was because it was hard for her to be there, pretending to be something she's not, because it sounds like she hid her trans status.
Okay. So, all right, so I understand that, but I also think when somebody is particularly bratty. There's usually an excuse for it, and they're usually pretty much exactly the same after the excuse is given. And she's already said that she was living in LA, and she's so bratty LA, like, oh my God. I mean, she does say, you know, what does she say? Talking about, I've got to live my truth, or she's playing the victim card or something. That does play into what you said, though, however, so I can go with that.
Yeah, and we're a bit bratty, so we can relate as well.
Well, speak for yourself, babes.
Some of us are aware of it. No, I'm joking. But all the crying, it does get broken up with some humour because they're all saying, oh, it feels like losing a member of our family. And then Priyanka just goes, except for when Kine left, I didn't care. So that was funnier than her entire Snatch Game. So she already peaked in the episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was a funny old episode for Priyanka because she loves it when people praise her, and then obviously, you know, pretends to hate it when they don't. But it's just like, she very much thinks she's the goddamn bee's knees. And so I think this was a good episode for her. You know, give her a bit of a knock a few spots off.
Yeah, I think it'll take her down a peg or two. She tells Ilona that it was disrespectful for her not to lip sync or not to want to, and then
she's right, yeah,
don't play the victim card. And then Ilona says, how dare you tell me how to feel, Priyanka? And she does very quickly apologise. It's one of the briefest feuds we've had on the show.
I need to stop you right there. She doesn't apologise. She says, I'm sorry. She said, I RuPologise. She says she uses RuPologise as a real serious word.
I didn't clock that.
Yeah, she does. She goes, oh my God, I RuPologise. I was like, you can't use, you know, that as a vernacular. No, babes.
That's like crossing your fingers in the drag world. It's just not meaning it. It's like when on All Stars 4, when Cart was sending home Latrice, she's going, she's brown cow stunning. She gives you the ooh-ah sensation. But I'm like, you can't squeeze in catchphrases into sincere moments. It just doesn't really work.
Well, it's exactly what it was.
So RuPaul does a video, his weekly video, and it's full of Celine Dion references. So
Yay!
I thought, we knew it was Snatch Game, but I would have thought if I was in the room that it was going to be a Celine Dion-based challenge. So it was a bit of a misdirect. But Sam, we love Celine, don't we?
We do, and weirdly enough, on Facebook this week, I got a reminder of, you know, one of those. I mean, sometimes they're nice when you get a Facebook picture reminder. Sometimes they're awful if it's like an ex or someone that's died. But this time it was all right.
It's good if it's an ex that died, though. That's quite nice.
Then it's like, yay! So it was you and me and our dear friend Dan at Celine Dion, I believe, the O2.
Oh my God, that was such an amazing night. So we've actually had 2 nights at Celine. A few years ago, we saw her at the O2, which was the first time I ever saw her live. And then last year we saw Celine at Hyde Park? What's it called? BTS?
Oh, yes. Well, we weren't together that day, but we were both in the presence of Celine, but not together.
Oh, we were together. We were not physically together, but we were emotionally together, because I was in this area where it was like a stand by the side of the stage, and Sam was downstairs in the main area, and then Sam did a performance, a lip sync performance to Celine Dion, all coming back to me now, and for all of no one was even watching Celine, they were all watching Sam. You slayed it.
I know. Do you know what as well? You shouted at me. I was leaving because I was really tired. I've been at Wimbledon all day, and I was leaving, and I saw you up there, and you were waving. So I put my bag down, moved it to one side, and then just did a lip sync performance for you.
You put down your bag of brown, and you moved to one side.
I polished off my bag of brown and did a performance that I'll never remember.
I love that you say you were tired. You're like, oh God, we're going to have to fully slay this lip sync. I was like Stacey Francis up in the stands yes, bitch, you better work. But then after you left, me and Dan went down there, and it was My Heart Will Go On. I started sobbing during it, and he fucking Insta-lived it. So everyone on Instagram, because Dan has 1 million fucking followers, all saw me crying to Celine Dion, possibly the gayest thing I've ever done. So...
Oh, I'm pretty sure you've done a few more things that are more gay than that. But I will say, however, that it's memorable moments with Celine, and that's why it's so good that it brings it back down. This is why it's all coming back to us now for Canada's Drag Race.
Well, I was supposed to be seeing her with my mum in September. I got her that as a Christmas present, but it's been postponed to next April in Birmingham. So hopefully Celine will be reunited again. Probably more exciting for me than it is for you. But yes, we love Celine in this house.
But I have to say that also, veering slightly off topic, not really at all actually, because it's about Celine, I decided to look up if Celine had ever been on Drag Race.
No, she's not.
She has judged a few drag competitions outside of RuPaul's Drag Race, But then, so I was reading a interview with Michelle.
Yeah.
And she was saying how that people obviously suggest all these massive celebrities each year, like Cher and Madonna and Celine.
Yeah.
And she said the invitations go out to all of them every time there's a new series commissioned. She said, and then she said the problem is obviously with some of these older stars sitting down and doing it for 12 hours is quite difficult. And I thought, whoa, shady bitch. I mean, are you saying that Madge is too old to do anything for 12 hours solid? Or Cher for that matter? I mean, she can still have breaks.
Also, sitting on a chair is not that hard. I mean, these are women who perform for 2 hours dancing around a stage. Do you think they can't sit on a fucking chair? I think the subtext there is that Drag Race is a very long day of work and they're not paid to be on it. I don't think maybe they get paid a little bit, but it's not like,
really?
For them, a day's work, they have to be a fan of the show to want to do it. It's not really something that's a great lucrative gig for them or anything.
And also it's not like these people already don't have the gaze in the palm of their hands, and they have been praised and lauded all over Drag Race since the beginning of time anyway. So it's like they don't need to up their game anymore. There's already been so many Madonna challenges and Celine challenges, etc. So why would they need to?
Oh yeah, Madonna's like, I think I need some more gay fans. I better go on Drag Race. No, I don't think that's the case, is it? So Brooklyn Heights comes in and she announces, oh god, I love this episode, that the library is open. So it's kind of so I love obviously the reading challenge. That's my bread and butter. If I was eating carbs. And this is a great one. So did you love it, Sam?
Well, first of all, I do. I mean, I know I'm a stickler for pointing out these little things, but I thought...
Enough about your dick.
What? God?
The library's open here too.
Oh God, shut it! I didn't bring my card. I think it's obvious because it's the BBC and the sunglasses are provided by somebody that's been blurred out. But it means we get a bunch of shitty Primark sunglasses rather than usual comedy sunglasses of the same ilk. But they're just all rubbishy Primark ones, and it really gets to my nerves for some reason.
That's a really good point you bring up, actually, because you've just made me realise that they didn't bleep out the swear words in this episode, because one of the reads was the only thing you're fucking is stupid, so they must have dropped that shtick, which is good because it was quite annoying us, wasn't it?
No, they just bleep out motherfucking. They keep fucking.
Oh, but they bleeped out cunt before, didn't they? Oh, I guess cunt.
It's cunt and motherfucking you can't have. Fucking's okay.
Oh, is that across the board on the BBC?
I'm not sure, but I mean that seems to be the benchmark for this one. So you can fuck, but just don't fuck your mother.
No, just your dad. So what were your favourite reads from the challenge?
Lemon I thought was great.
Yes.
She was really funny. And
she did the slinky one. You're like a slinky. Yeah. I don't know what you're good at, but I'd love to push you down the stairs. That was a great read.
I like that. Oh my God, but my standout moment was with Rita when she totally shades Brooklyn again.
Yes, I think that cost her the reading challenge, but it was worth it. She's like, finally a Canadian can win Drag Race. And then Brooklyn took a second to catch on to what had happened. She was laughing along like, oh wait, that's me.
Hang on, that's about me. And the thing is as well, this is the same person who, when she got slated on the runway by Brooklyn, said, oh, we don't care about that. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of beef there. And obviously I think she's older than Brooklyn and she thinks how is it that you are a judge? You shouldn't be judging me. I should be judging you.
You need to do a Rita Bagger for Snatch Game. That was good.
Thanks.
I have to point out one thing because it's caused a lot of confusion. So Boa said in the reading challenge, Lemon, can you hold my drink? I've always loved putting it on a coaster, which I thought was a good read, and to me it made sense, but my friend Alex did not get this, and then later I saw on Reddit a few people didn't understand the joke, so I assume you got it.
It means as in coasting, like coasting through life, coasting through school, coasting through the competition.
Yeah, it was quite simple, but people appear to have got it confused, so we're here to help. That is what that meant.
We're not here to help thickos. Work it out yourself.
Work it out. So Lemon, I think, was the rightful winner. I think she had the best reads. I bet those are reads she's heard before. I don't think she came up with them herself. They seem like kind of worn classics, but even I hadn't heard them.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you didn't suggest your services to any of these queens as well.
Well, the thing is, you can't with the regular Drag Race because you don't know who they are till they've already been on the show.
Oh right, yeah.
But on All Stars, you kind of have a feeling for who they're after, so they still don't hire me.
You can't peddle your wares to every drag queen in the world.
Oh, chicken! I can't give it away. It's much like my love life.
You wish you could give that away.
So it's time for the Snatch Game. So Sam, we've talked in All Stars 5 about Snatch Game, but for Canada's Drag Race, are there any Canadian celebrities that you would do if you were on the show?
Is Miley Cyrus Canadian?
No.
Is she? I think well, definitely not her then. I think I could do Justin Bieber or
Justin Bieber would be good, yeah. I'd love to do Justin Bieber, actually, in many ways.
Would you like him to do you? Pardon me, sorry. Or maybe...
I love his dick pic. Sorry, I told you I was drinking beer. I'm getting loose lipped today.
Loose lips think ships, darling. I think, Celine obviously would be amazing to do. Nobody did them, and obviously they were told it was a Celine challenge, so they couldn't do Celine, even though she would be perfect for Snatch Game, obviously.
Well, I think because Brooklyn
bonkers.
bombed it as well as Celine, I think people would probably avoid it for that reason as well for a while.
Yes. So Canadian ones, I mean, I don't really know that many Canadian stars. I would say maybe Carly Rae Jepsen, but people don't really know her personality.
I think Alanis would be a good Snatch Game character.
Oh, that'd be so good. You're so right.
You could do the hair over the nipples, the naked from the waist up, and you could do the like that kind of. I mean, that would just be funny for half an hour. Who else is that? Oh, everyone on Reddit was saying, and this is a very good point, Catherine O'Hara, and then do it as Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek.
Oh wow! Just do Moira Rose. That would be so good as well.
I think it's quite a hard impression to do. I can do a little. Oh, John, what about the baby? I mean, I can do it a little bit, but it's quite hard, and she's quite...
Well, I was reading about it, actually, the other day, because I love Catherine O'Hara, and I have done my whole life.
She's the fucking queen, definitely.
She really is, and ever since Home Alone... Kevin! She's just the best. And, so I was reading how basically, I think it was... Because obviously they're father and son team that are in it.
Yeah.
And the guy who's writing it, I can't remember his name.
Eugene and Dan Levy. Dan Levy plays,
Dan Levy. He was saying how it was like watching two old friends, basically. So it was his parent, his dad, and Catherine O'Hara, because they did so much improv together, and she sort of just made up this voice that no one has ever heard of that accent in their whole lives, and she's just sort of made it up, and they just sort of ran with it. And he said that every take they did of Catherine O'Hara, she did it differently. So they were like, which one do we use? There's so much material.
Oh, I didn't know she made up the voice. I thought they would have said, this is how we want her to sound.
No, she just created it herself.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just a joy to watch her do that. It's actually like where you really respect acting, like comedic acting. You're like, what she does is just, well, we can't speak highly enough of her.
And also, but if you got the accent right and the words, and you could obviously, because I mean, drag queens love to do like a bit of older lady makeup. Do you know what I mean? It's perfect, so bread and butter. So they could do that, and if you got the accent right, that could smash it on Snatch Game, couldn't it?
And you could do like what you just said, where maybe halfway through Snatch Game you could change into Home Alone her.
Yeah, Home Alone Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah. Kevin! Oh, I always cry at the end of Home Alone. It's
Kevin!
So, but none of them choose any Canadian celebrities. There's not one Canadian celebrity on the Snatch Game. Priyanka says she thinks she'll be good because she worked in kids' TV. In the UK, we know that working in kids' TV doesn't always necessarily mean that you're great. It can mean...
Doesn't necessarily mean you'll work again.
Could mean you're cancelled like Ellen DeGeneres. But Priyanka's doing Miss Cleo. So did you know who that was?
Vaguely, I sort of knew, and I because I knew of her vaguely, I honestly thought that she would do really well.
Yeah, the only time I've heard of Miss Cleo is on All Stars 3. Shangela was going to do her for Snatch Game, but she changed her mind. So I'd heard of her through that, but yeah, I didn't really know who she was. But there's been a lot of mediums done on Snatch Game, even Alexis Mateo recently. It's quite a good crutch to use.
And a few larges as well.
Enough about Eureka O'Hara. So Jeffrey does the walkthrough. So we have to talk about this because it's kind of escalated now. Jeffrey, a lot of people hate Jeffrey. It's become clear at this point.
Can I say that I have a dear friend, Sam, who watches the show, and he just seems to hate on her even more each week. Like he can't bear like the little shoulder shrug and the looking them up and down. And he's definitely on that train, that hate train. But what do you think?
Well, it's getting to the point now where, like, they filmed this last year. Jeffrey Bower Chapman has been popular with Drag Race fans because of his appearances on the normal show. He's good looking, so everyone fancies him. And then...
Because of his appearance, full stop, babes.
Yeah, and then he's waited a year for it to air, and now everyone's hating him. This must be awful to...
I know.
Do you know, he must have been so excited, and now he's just like, shit, this couldn't be going more badly. I feel bad for him, but I figured out the solution. He needs to judge the show nude. Because that would turn it around, because even everyone who hates him admits they all want to hit that. So I think he just needs to give the people what they want.
thing is, I don't hate him at all. I think he's doing quite a good job. He's relatively funny, but I mean, it's because
Is he?
It's because he's sort of morphing each week into RuPaul or trying to be RuPaul. Like, I mean, even with the yellow eye makeup, it's like, if you're coming in as like this, you know, when he was on the show before, we've discussed this before, he was this sort of like butch Canadian eye candy. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was like,
Yeah.
and like that's why RuPaul does that whole like faux love thing with him. And then now
It's not faux.
He gets more and more catty, more and more camp, more and more makeup, and it's just like, what are we watching? Is it like a metamorphosis?
I thought my TV was broken with the yellow eye makeup. I didn't know he was wearing makeup. I thought
He's got proper full on
Geesh.
yellow eye makeup on. Geesh. He's got a beat face, honey.
He's beat for days. Well, I think a lot of people do want to beat him at the moment as well.
You beat yourself off to him for days.
We find out that Kiara is doing Mariah Carey. So, oh my God, we have waited so long for someone to do Mariah. I can't believe it's taken this long, and I can't believe it's gone so badly. She says she does her in her shows, but I presume she means lip syncing to her songs, which is very different from Snatch Gaming someone.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm sure... Because she didn't particularly look the part. She was far too skinny for a start. But I think, there's more. There's so much more she could have done. She just looked like a drag queen in a Christmas outfit.
Oh God, yeah, she could have addressed the J-Lo feud, the Nicki Minaj, the I don't know her, the big boobs, the always drunk, the diva tantrums, the getting caught out lip syncing. Like, there's so much you can do.
She could have had a fucking fake puppy with her, like a bunch of fake puppies. So that would have worked. I mean, God.
Yeah, oh yeah, because that was her. She used to ask for white puppies in every room.
Her rider, yeah.
Yeah.
Or that she doesn't do stairs. Anything like that. These are classic Mariah moments.
And that's what really pisses me off on the Snatch Game, because I remember it reminded me a little bit of Naomi Smalls back in season 8 when she did Tiffany New York Pollard. I'm like, if you choose someone who has so much potential, it's even more mortifying when you don't do anything with it. It's like, what were you thinking? But we will get to Snatch Game. We're just going over their choices at the moment. So Ilona is doing the Cock Destroyer, Rebecca Moore. You didn't know who that was?
Well, no, and I looked her up, and oh my God, the first video that comes up is like, they're proper rotters, and they're like, then she's going, oh, I can't wait to have a gangbang, get all your balls milked right in my mouth, all round my tits, look at my big fucking tits, come on. And then, so I looked at that and I was like, well, reasonably appalled and aroused. And then I looked at, and then I saw that they'd done something in March for Netflix, basically something to do with sex education, but they're using those two. It's really quite boggled my mind, to be honest.
They are quite popular. I haven't really watched their videos, but they do get mentioned a lot, so I think they are, quite a thing. I think we're going to have to surrender to it eventually.
Yeah.
One person I was definitely familiar with, because it is one of my favourite people in history, genuinely, is Joan Rivers. So the fact Jimbo has done Joan Rivers, it makes me so happy, because she is someone, again, I would want her to be done justice. Mm-hmm. So it's shocking we've never had her on the show. Miss Kasha Davis in season 7 was going to do Joan Rivers, but she got eliminated before the Snatch Game, and Sharon Needles does her a lot.
I don't think the wig was right, and I think the makeup. I think she made her look too old, and she looked much younger than that.
Well, she's dead.
Because I know, even because of her surgery, she was proper pulled up to the nines with her facelift. So I think she overdid. The makeup wasn't right. She looked too old. Yeah,
and I have to admit, I've seen Joan Rivers done better, because like Liza, she's someone who's done a lot, but at least it was a good. It wasn't like tarnishing her memory or anything.
Yeah,
I never got to see Joan Rivers. I had tickets to see her, and she died before then. Selfish bitch.
But, I remember you saying that. Oh, selfish bitch.
Did you ever see her live?
No, never. No. I would have loved to have done. Only on, I was going to say.
On TV.
I was going to say only on TV. That's not really live, is it?
See you in the magazines.
She was in live for the audience on TV. So no. It's just a no. It's a full-on no.
She seemed like someone who was going to be around forever, even though she was getting on a bit. So I just always thought, one day I'll see her. And it's so sad, because I think she's iconic.
Yeah, but that's the same as Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Same as Carrie Fisher, though. Died before their time.
Did you know that Carrie Fisher died from sleep apnea?
Did she? I think she'd taken some wrong pills or something.
Oh, okay, we're going to have to get to the bottom of that. That's a separate podcast.
Yeah.
So we mentioned, as well as Joan Rivers is done a lot, Liza is done a lot and has even been done on Snatch Game before with Alexis Michelle in season 9 winning with Liza. So I'm of the opinion that if you're going to do your Cher, your Liza, anyone who's done to death, you have to really smash it.
It's got to be really special. That's why I thought Jujubee was so good at Eartha Kitt, because she smashed it.
Exactly, yeah. She'd been done before.
And when there's like this whole body of work to work with,
yeah,
you've got to pick and choose. It's about getting into the character and then saying new things as that character, which I think both of them did quite well.
So you have to be quite confident. But someone who's never been done before is Edith Piaf, and I wouldn't have thought she was an obvious choice. What did you make of Rita Baga doing?
Oh my
her?
God, are we talking about her performance or the fact that she's going to do Edith Piaf?
Just the choice at the moment, and then we'll get to the
I think it's a fantastic choice. She hasn't been done before. Have you seen La Vie en Rose?
I haven't. I need to see it.
Oh my God, it's so good, and it is ripe for the picking. There's so much you can do with it from when she's a bit. It's almost a bit like doing Judy Garland, basically. She's that massive in France. She is like their Judy Garland, and with almost the same problems, etc., etc. And she had that really crazy look, those eyebrows. I mean, I'm amazed it hadn't been done before. But the fact that Rita's obviously French Canadian as well just feeds right into it. So it was hers to lose.
Who plays Edith Piaf in La Vie en Rose?
Oh, and you were going to ask me that. Judy. It's Judy,
Garland.
No, it was only a few years ago. She got nominated for an Oscar for it. She's an Australian actress, Judy someone. I'll find out.
Oh, they got an Australian actress. How unusual. I need to see that. I'm going to put that top of my list. The thing that upset me in the walkthrough was... I thought Boa showed that she could do quite a good Cyndi Lauper, but then Jeffrey completely threw her off it. I thought it was good.
Can I just say that I was wrong? It isn't Judy. It isn't an Aussie. It's Marion Cotillard plays Edith Piaf.
Is she the woman who's in Batman? The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I was thinking
beautiful.
She is beautiful, and she stabbed Batman right in the back, and then spoilers, and then Bane dies. Oh no, sorry, we're going way off track.
Have another beer, babes. Happy Pride.
You see my true colours. And speaking of, so Boa tries to do Cyndi Lauper. Did you think that was an accurate impression?
No, I know, but do you know what? I wish she had done it, because I think it would have been really good, actually, because no, I don't think anyone's done Cyndi Lauper before, and if you go, but again, if you can't get the voice right, then don't bother. So I get it.
She's another one, Cyndi Lauper, I haven't seen live that I would like to. She is.
I've seen her live.
Oh, is she good? I bet she.
Oh, she was so good.
What's your favourite Cyndi song?
I drove all night. Because I have to say, she did the dance version of that before Celine did. I have to say, sorry.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that. They think it's a Celine original, and it was Cyndi Lauper first. But apparently, it was originally written for Roy Orbison.
It's a Roy Orbison song first, and it's an amazing song. And then Cyndi did a dance remix of it. So then Celine sort of did a version of Cyndi Lauper's version of Roy's version.
No, but the T is Cyndi Lauper's version was released first. Roy Orbison's was recorded first, but it wasn't released till after Cyndi Lauper's version.
Was it?
So technically, yeah, even though Roy Orbison was the first person to record that song, Cyndi Lauper was the first person to release it. So hers is technically the original, but it's quite...
I do think of myself as a bit of a Cyndi file, so I'm going to have to look that up. I'm sorry.
It was just Wikipedia, so Wikipedia can be wrong. I looked it up just this morning.
It was probably... Cindy's probably there changing it herself.
Well, I've never heard Roy's version. I was more familiar with Celine's, but I heard Cindy's after, and I prefer Cindy's, I must admit. I love that song.
Yeah, it is. It is brilliant. And she was awesome live. That isn't actually my favourite Cyndi song. I've got all of her albums. She did like a really super gay album maybe about 10 years ago. All like proper
Into the Nightlife, that one.
Yeah. That I think that's such a good album. If you haven't heard the whole album, it is fantastic. So and it's fag central. And I went to go and see her with a boyfriend at the time, I think, who was just super in love with her. And I took my sister, and it was just such... It was, do you know, I think it was before camera phones. Oh my God. And yeah, because I know my sister's got a proper developed picture from that night. But she was fantastic. It was in quite a small... It wasn't even a mass... I think it was maybe Brixton Academy. It wasn't massive, but it was amazing.
Back then, we just used to do sketches of them on stage because we didn't have our camera.
I know. Stand still.
But instead of doing Cyndi Lauper, Boa ends up doing... I hadn't heard of this cancer woman. So is it Gypsy Rose? Is it?
This is why I wanted her to do Cyndi Lauper because I think it would have been much better. Yeah, it's Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I recognised the story and I was like, how do I know? Because they used her storyline in The Politician, the first series of The Politician. Did you watch that?
I didn't. That's one from the makers of Glee, is it? From Brad.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Murphy. And it was they use so basically the story, she's her mother basically she has Munchausen by proxy. So do you know what that is?
Yeah, where you fake it but for your child. Fake diseases for your child.
You fake it for somebody else and then you're like, oh my god.
I've faked it for people before, trust me.
You basically, she makes out that she's the victim by making her child a victim of a disease. So she's a wonderful person for looking after her, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, the real story is super crazy, and Jessica Lange plays the mother, obviously in The Politician. So it's worth watching The Politician just for Jessica Lange in it. And yeah, so it's awful. And she gets murdered in the end, and she makes her think she's got cancer, and blah 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 blah. And it's a really interesting story, but I'm not sure. Well, it was just that it wasn't very like. For example, you don't need to know that JoJo person to know that was a good performance that Lemon did. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to know. Yeah, I knew of the story, but like it's not like it's like a really good documentary story as opposed to a good person to do on Snatch Game, I think.
So did she kill her own mum? Because they made a reference to.
No, it wasn't her. I don't think she killed her own mum, but she had a boyfriend that was sort of in love with her, and I think he hated her and wanted to. He hated the mum, so they sort of did it together. The boyfriend ended up going to prison, I think.
Okay, I mean, I need to watch this show now. You've sold it to me. So Lemon tells Jeffrey she thinks she's not doing enough, and this means everything to her. And she's kind of giving me winner energy at this point. Are you getting that from Lemon? I think she might win the show.
No, I don't think so.
Oh wow.
I don't think she might win the show. I think she's really good. I mean, like, look at her runway. She's not going to win the show, like, thinking that's okay. I think it's.
That's true.
I think she's a really good contender, but I think she's very much the Blair St. Clair of this season in that she's not quite ripe.
She reminds me like of Aquaria though, like that confidence. But yeah, you're right. The runways being that bad, I don't think she will probably win. But I think she's going to go far. I get a good feeling about her. And I also get a good feeling about the runway category because it's a night of 1,000 Celines.
Yay!
So, which Celine look would you do?
Oh my god, there are so many to choose from. You'd have to do a really iconic one, obviously. I liked it when her new album came out and she had that, because I think she's so skinny and she has so many crazy looks nowadays, like way more than she used to.
Yeah.
She's gone super crazy fashion since her husband carked it. I think I would...
Husband/abuser. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Captor.
Oh mon dieu, oh mon dieu.
Allegedly. Oh no, we can say anything. He's dead now. You can't lie.
Can I just say? I did. So my personal history with Celine Dion is that I did French A-level, and for French A-level you need to have an oral section, and which you know I love. I initially wanted to do a song, and I was going to sing a song called "Fly" from her album to do you know what? I can't say it. I've forgotten the name of the album. But I bought the French album and learnt a load of the songs. And one of the songs basically one of the songs is about her little niece who died. And basically she talks about how she talks about how she went into hospital and held her niece and she like died in her arms. And like she wrote a song about it. And I was just like, I'm not being funny. I'm pretty sure that little girl's mum probably wanted to hold her when she died in her arms. Not fucking Celine, so she could write a song about it. Anyway, so she did. And it's called Fly. And it's about flying, obviously flying up to the angels, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I found this interview online about her and it's all in French and it's all in English. So I cut it up to learn the French one so I could just basically parrot it out. But also some bits in it where she talks about how if I wasn't a international singer, I would be a professional model. That's actually one of her quotes, which obviously made me hoot as I looked at her horsey mane. But then also one of the best quotes that I read that she said was talking about Renee, who had been managing her since she was 13, and basically
shagging her since she was 13 as well.
No, absolutely not. So, but she said, but this is even more sinister. I mean, not more sinister than that. That's just fucking gross. But it's also illegal. And what he did was actually he waited until the night of her 18th birthday. She says, basically every night he would come and give me a kiss, good night. But on the eve of my 18th birthday, he gave me a kiss that was much more different. It was like a lover. And that was how they got together.
And then he fed her a carrot in an open palm hand.
And a couple of sugar cubes.
Sorry.
So yeah, anyway, thanks to Celine. I got a B! Merci, Celine!
Oh, merci beaucoup. Sam, can you sing a bit of the French song you were going to sing originally?
I can't remember how it goes.
Well, that does remind me, a lot of people don't know this because Celine Dion's not known for writing her songs, but in her French songs, she does write them, as you just mentioned about her niece. So she is a singer-songwriter, and in France, she's like quite a credible artist. I mean, I'm not saying she's not credible, but people often say she's like a guilty pleasure or a bit cheesy. But I think in French, she's more of like a Joni Mitchell type.
And also, she's very much like, what's her chops?
Edith.
Who's the Spanish one? Oh, what's her name? I'll keep wanting to say Shangela, but I don't mean
Selena.
Her. No. She did it with Lopez. She sang with Lopez at the end.
Shakira.
Yeah, she's much like her because she sings in her native language quite a lot. So she puts out her native language album in between the British ones, so we don't really get them.
Yes, that is a good comparison. She is like Shakira. She's the classic Shakira. So we get to the Snatch Game. Snatch Game has a red carpet, so they do their own little bit at the beginning, which I quite liked. And then
that was a nice new touch for I mean, I didn't love it, but I thought for a first go that was quite nice. And I think it was just another way to shoehorn that woman into it again. But I think that if it was, I think it could have been done better. But I quite liked it. I'd like to see that happen for RuPaul's Drag Race actually.
Yeah, and this Snatch Game, unlike the regular one, is presented by Brooklyn Heights, who I think perfectly addresses the fact that she bombed Snatch Game. She says, "I'm living proof that if you bomb this show, they make you come back and host it." So it's kind of like she's made the joke before someone else does, because I'm sure someone would have read it to filth.
Rita, basically.
Colin and Justin are on the Snatch Game, which is a bit weird, I thought. I wasn't expecting to see them.
And also, one of them, I can't remember which one was it, Colin or Justin. Which one was sat on the left with the less grey hair?
I don't know which one's which, but I know what you're going to say.
What was I going to say about the hair transplant, the fillers, the Botox, and the plastic face? Was that what I was going to say?
Oh no, I thought you were going to say he sounded drunk, because he sounded like fucking pissed, didn't you think?
I'm sure you were just listening back to yourself.
Okay, I actually am drunk at the moment, but I'm not drunk on Drag Race, I'm just drunk on Drag Race recap, which is fine. So into the actual Snatch Game, who is your favourite?
I would have to say Ilona would have been really good if the accent wasn't so shit. I mean, I know it's quite hard to do an Essex accent if you're American or Canadian. So, but I think it was, and I wish that Rita had done more with Edith Piaf, having watched the film, and I know she was doing her sort of like old and sleepy and drug-addled. I think she should have been a bit more, she could have gone.
She did do that.
She stopped halfway and that was the joke, but I think she could have she could have done more powerful, funny Edith Piaf as opposed to, sleepy Death's Door Edith Piaf.
There was something quite like transfixing about her performance, though. It didn't make me laugh very much, but I just liked that she kind of.
Oh, it was because she was in it. 100% she was in it. She didn't drop character at any moment. I think that I would have to say that. I just would agree. Joan Rivers was the best because she came up with some really rank things like "smell my fingers, smell your mum."
You miss your mother? Smell my goddamn fingers. I love that. That was my.
That was rancid, but obviously amazing.
And when it went. Sorry, that was my vagina. It dropped. I loved that. But the bit that actually made me laugh out loud in the episode was Ilona when they said, "Can you spell how you say cock?"
That was funny.
C-ock. I thought that was classic.
And also that was quite in character for the who she was playing, so I thought that was quite good.
I thought Scarlett Bobo sounded more like Detox than Liza Minnelli. But she did a passable thing.
She thought she was amazing. I think she thought it was better than it was.
Exactly, I think you're totally right. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think Kiara gave possibly one of the worst Snatch Games ever.
it was a push for the crown with that one because there's Priyanka just above her.
Well, I thought there was, even though they were both clearly the bottom, I still thought there was a huge gap between. I thought Kiara was by far the worst because she didn't even, to me, give anything that even resembled a joke.
No, it was basically almost like a visual joke, like a visual performance, and it was like, well, do I have to say anything? Because I'm dressed like Mariah. Yeah, you do. You've got to be funny.
Well, even like you said, she didn't even really look like Mariah. At least when Morgan McMichael's bombed as Pink, she looked like Pink while she was bombing. She didn't look like Mariah. Mariah is known for way more than just Christmas anyway. Like, obviously, that's one of her many classic songs. She just kept naming Mariah Carey songs as if that's funny. That's not funny. We all know the names of the fucking songs.
Emotions. Yeah, that's another one. See? Look
Hero, pause for laughter. No, that's not funny. Why would you do this? And like we said, there's just so much you can do with Mimi. I just found it, to be honest, I found it offensive.
I'm writing to the BBC as we speak.
I thought your favourite might be Lemon, though, because Lemon was really funny. I guess it's because I didn't know who she was, and you're right that you didn't really need to know, but it's still...
Well, I've since gone and looked her up, and oh my god, she is full on appalling. I mean, first of all, the video I think that the most recent one I think was actually sometime this year, and clearly she was from Dance Moms, and clearly she was, like a young, pretty dance kid, but she's gotten older, and I don't know whether she's like 12 or 13, but she's wearing all this like little dance girl gubbins, and she looks like she's way too old to have them. She's showing people around her massive crazy house with all like toys and all of her past costumes like on mannequins like a freak, and and she's got like this is my pool and slime room, this is my bar, my candy bar with like loads of sweets, and it just, because she's got all this fucking weird makeup on and
weird hair
and her signature pony, and it just, the whole thing is really weird and disturbing. So I think because she just looks too old for it. She looked like she's been like, if her parents could keep her at like 10 years old, they would have done, like given her those drugs that they give to Chinese gymnasts. But this one, I don't know. But so therefore, that once I looked her up, I was sort of even more intrigued by her. But Lemon's performance was pretty spot on, but funnier than the actual person. So that's exactly what you'd want with Snatch Game.
That's the perfect sweet spot of doing someone that even if people don't know them, they still find it entertaining. Because I was laughing without knowing, and I love that hey-oh, and the speech.
That was brilliant.
The speech impediment is always good for a laugh. It's good to laugh at other people's misfortune. I keep laughing at inappropriate things this episode. Celine Dion's niece, Chinese gymnasts. I'm just laughing at them all. But I wasn't laughing during Bower's awful Snatch Game. She was bad. And was she accurate? Because you saw the show about...
Well, she was quite accurate, but it wasn't... The thing is, like, she was just a bald little girl with, tubes coming out of her and a hat on. Like, and she was just like really meek and mild. Like, the person who played her in The Politician she was playing, it wasn't the same name, but you knew the story. And,
okay.
She was like funny, so she had like a sort of a mean streak, which is why like she sort of resented being made into this little ill girl when she wasn't. So she had this sort of mean streak of, malevolence towards her mother, which you just didn't get at all from Bower. I mean, she said, "I might just kill you," but then was still really sweet the whole time. So it didn't really work.
It's hard to make cancer funny, and she did not succeed.
No, she didn't.
But overall, I thought this was one of the best Snatch Games ever. I think it's up there with our UK one, All Stars 2, and Season 6, which tend to be known as the best ones, and it made me laugh, and even on second watch I loved it.
Oh, look at you. Yeah, no, I agree. It was excellent. And the thing is, with an excellent Snatch Game, you've got to have a couple of shit ones in there to, for a bit of a dichotomy.
Yeah, balance. And Priyanka knows that she's bad. She calls it one of the worst Canadian snatches ever. And then Ilona swoops in, kicks her while she's down and says, "Stop playing the victim," as a throwback to earlier. And I was like, oh my God.
Excellent shade. Well done. And
I thought the library was closed, but no, apparently not.
It's never closed, really. This is why I think like Priyanka's a little bit full of herself, because she knows how shit shit it was and just laughs about it. Like normally, in normal Drag Race, they'd be like, oh my God, I think I'm really in trouble this week. That was really bad. But she's like, oh my God, I was the worst.
What am I like? But I think she knows. Well, they obviously know at this point what the lip sync song is because they know it's the Celine runway. So I think she's thinking, well, I bombed, but I know I'm going to slay this lip sync, which we will get to.
But I mean, I thought she was going to be safe. I thought she, because of her amazing outfit on the runway, she thought that was going to pull her back from the brink, but obviously didn't.
Yeah. Jimbo starts talking about using humour to make friends, so I think we can all relate to that. Sam.
We can. That's why I've got no friends.
The only thing you're fucking is humourless. No, I'm joking. We get a bit where Kiara's dad doesn't know she does drag or something. I kind of zoned out for a second there. Was that important?
Well, no. I mean, there was so much going on in this episode. They tried to squeeze in a bit of emotion, and it was just a bit by the by. It wasn't really very interesting.
So we're going to take a break before we get to the runway. But just before we do, I thought we'd talk a little bit about our Pride episode this week.
Yay!
Yes, and I actually missed out one of the letters from our listeners, so I'm just going to read that out. But we're basically doing a episode celebrating what would have been Brighton Pride and all things Pride related.
Yes.
But Demi LeBrock wrote into us and she says, I turned up to a Pride event in mint green spandex with pineapples all over my nipples, and it turned out nobody else dressed up and there was loads of families with kids there. Safe to say I got shit-faced and owned it.
Well, do you know what? So I have to say, which is something that that jumped out at me, Ed. So in our Pride podcast, we talked about, which is what I think this letter is about, fashion fails, etc. And you said, Ed, that you'd bought basically a blouse with lemons on it.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty much what Lemon is wearing in all the VDs?
She is, but hers is white. Mine is a black blouse with lemons on. Very different.
Thought it was, not... When it comes to blouses, it's all black and white, babes. Lemon blouses.
Speaking of blouses, should we go to the moon?
Yay!
3, 2, 1. To
the moon! To the moon! To the moon!
Come on and take me away. To
the moon!
God, that was more out of tune than your Celine Dion oral. Thank you. Moon, reveal yourself.
Is that got a stag on it?
Isn't it Ralph Lauren?
Yeah!
Honey, it's Ralph Lauren, not Lauren.
It's Ralph Lauren, isn't it?
Grey Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren?
You pronounce it Lauren.
Are you sure?
I am sure. Did you not see Friends when she used to work for Ralph Lauren and they talk about Ralph Lauren the whole time? It's Ralph Lauren like the name Lauren, not Sophia Loren like Sophia Loren.
She says Ralph Lauren. Oh wait, does she? Ralph Lauren.
She says Ralph Lauren. Yeah. I'm sorry to be a stickler for fucking fashion when I'm having on fashions.
Well, we all learned something new today. And Moon, that's a very nice shirt. Well done.
I like the buttons on the collar. I always like a collar with buttons actually.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
me too. We could do with a little product in the hair, but we'll let it slide. It is a Sunday.
Oh, cheers.
Oh my God, it's
Bad hair day.
This is like RuPaul's Drag Race. We're actually doing product placement with Ralph Lauren.
Exactly.
Moon's clothes provided by Ralph Lauren.
Good sponsor.
And his heel provided by getting out of bed.
I was going to say, if I did Canadian Snatch Game, it would have to be Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh, yes! He'd be a really good one to do.
I didn't know he was Canadian. He's the one from 24, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in
And
24.
The Lost Boys,
and the Lost
fucking
Boys.
amazing.
His look in the Lost Boys would be great, I reckon.
I think it'd be hard to make that funny.
Well, I don't know. He's like famously, alcoholic, and you could do funny,
super growly.
do Jack Bauer lines and things.
Yeah, you could do it. I mean, anything's better than some of the shit that came out this week.
Anything's better than Kiara's Mariah, for sure. Good choice, Moon. You are safe this week.
Congrats. Yeah, you're safe.
Cheers. Survived another week.
For you. No lip syncing for you, dear.
Should we take a short break?
Mm-hmm.
See you in a sec.
Bye.
Bye.
United Queendom.
United Queendom is sponsored by Q Bar, who provide the best gay night out in London. Enjoy Q Bar, Q Club, Little Q and She Bar in Soho every night of the week for drinking, dancing and, despite the name, limited queuing. Now let's get on with the show. It's time for the runway, and I was very excited because Jeffrey is wearing the same shirt that I bought recently. We are in the same shirt.
Oh my God, it wasn't a lemon shirt in black though, was it?
No, it had flowers on it. So does this mean that I'm fashionable?
Well, it means that you're hated by the nation. No, jokes.
The world, yeah.
The world of drag hates you. Of course it does. It means you're very fashionable, darling, but you always have been.
Thank you. I can tell that you're crossing your fingers.
I'm actually crossing my legs and my fingers. And my ball bags. Wait, I've only got one ball bag.
Sam, you are sending me today. And this week, the show is being guest hosted by full-time lesbian Mary Walsh. So I didn't know who she is / was, but I loved her.
No, I didn't know either. I looked her up as I did with a few people this week, and she doesn't seem to have done anything that I would have seen. I think she, again, as we've said before, she's very Canada-centric, but she's got the Order of Canada, so I think that's like almost like a dame over there. So she's obviously, big news for them. I think she's sort of a bit like Sandy Toksvig or something.
A tiny lesbian. Yeah, someone should do it for Snatch Game, but it is a risk to choose men, so I don't know if that would work.
What about Sandy Toksvig? You rude arsehole. I mean, thinking about second series of UK Drag Race, I mean, like, you could do Prue Leith, you could do Sandy Toksvig. There's so much, there's so much you could do, isn't there?
Oh god, yeah, there's loads. I can't wait for series 2. So should we go through the runway looks?
Yes!
So who did you like?
I loved Jimbo.
Yeah, me too.
I thought Bo's was good. I don't know why they sliced it for all the fringe. Celine's outfit had all that fringe on it as well.
I agree. She was just making it a bit more drag, as they want them to do. It's fucking Drag Race, of course. Make it drag.
Yeah, exactly. Priyanka I thought was brilliant. I could not relieve. No, that's not right. that's when you go to the toilet and relieve yourself. Which I did in the break, I might add. I think that I couldn't believe Lemon. I mean, what? That was ridiculous.
It looked awful. She needed some padding desperately.
But like so many of them, I mean, I don't know whether it's like a conscious decision not to have boobs, but a lot of them, like and Celine doesn't really have boobs either because she's so old and skinny, a bit like an old mop. But I think but for something like what she. Because that outfit that Lemon was wearing obviously was from the Oscars, and the reason why Celine wore that outfit was because it's all about the necklace, and the necklace was the real necklace. It was not the real necklace from Titanic because that's made up, but it was
the heart.
It was an actual. It was actually a real jewel. It was fucking worth millions. So that's why she wore that dress, just to show it off, to be nothing else but the necklace. So, but the thing is, obviously, Lemon needed to have a waist. It was just a boy body and a sack,
which some drag queens can get away with, like Aquaria, Violet Chachki's done it, but you need a certain type of body to pull it off, and Lemon is not a queen who can get away without padding, in my opinion, not in a dress like this. It was a complete fail for me, and it may have cost her the win.
It was lemon-shaped rather than pear-shaped, because she's just a little bit chunky around the middle, do you know what I mean? Which if you're going to pull off a dress like that, you have to be fucking emaciated, and she isn't.
She's definitely not chunky, but yeah, she has a normal body.
Normal boy, it's a normal boy board, so,
And what did you think of Rita Bagger's before and after thing?
Yeah, I liked that, and especially thinking she was the only one that put in a performance. I knew the dance she was doing, and she goes like, fucking Celine does some really crazy things on stage. I mean, I love it. Me and my friend Emma used to be like obsessed with Celine. Because she'd be on stage and stuff. One of our favourite things ever that she used to do was she talked about René, and she was like where René would watch me from at home when he was sick, and when I touch my nose, that means René is watching, and it means I got you, babe. And she would say, and she'd stand there, and she'd be like, everybody, when I touch my nose, it means René is with us tonight. And she'd go, and she'd do these crazy duck walk dancing all around because she's just loving life. She loves performing. So like when they were like, oh, I don't know what that is, do your fucking research.
Are you sure when she touches her nose she's not doing cocaine and that's why she's so lively?
No.
Yeah, a lot of people were offended that the judges didn't get the Eurovision reference, which I didn't get either. But yeah, you would think it's a Celine Dion challenge and they're in Canada. You would think they would know the references.
Well, yeah, especially enough. You don't know enough to like show that you haven't done your research. Like Rita had to say, "Oh, well, it's from this."
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's a fucking Celine challenge, and you're the judges. What are you judging then if you don't actually judge Celine? It just didn't make any sense.
Do you remember when we saw Celine and she started singing Rihanna's Work? She's like going, quack, 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 for no reason, like in between songs.
Well, because she just talks non-stop in between songs, doesn't she?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, she's as much fun to watch talk as she is to watch sing. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people pointed out that arguably Celine's most famous look that she's ever done is her backwards suit look. And they wondered whether...
that's a perfect one. Oh, yeah.
Well, they said that maybe no one did it because everyone assumed that it might be a Madonna kimono situation where there would be more than one, so that's why they all avoided the most obvious look. And also Brooklyn wore it to do the Snatch Game that she bombed in season 11. So I don't know if that might have been why, but none of them tried that one.
Possibly a bit too iconic. And the thing is, I remember at the time when she did that, all the fashion people were like, oh my God, she's ridiculous. She's such a fashion joke, blah, 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 blah. And now the joke's on them.
Yeah, she's become quite fashionable now, hasn't she?
Yeah, massively fashionable. Before, everybody just laughed at her. Oh...
I was pissed off when Brooklyn said that Mariah is hard to make funny. I'm like, yeah, Kiara didn't make her funny, but she is very possible, as we mentioned earlier, all the things she could do. So I was a bit like, come on, guys, Mariah Carey could be an amazing Snatch Game character. Do not play her like that.
Just sit and watch. If you could just sit and watch her reality show, like a couple of episodes or the whole series, which you should have done really if you were going to do her Snatch Game. There's plenty of material to use, plenty.
So it sounds to me like the judges were very split, and it was quite close between Rita, Lemon, and Jimbo for the win. So who was your choice, Jimbo? Because mine was.
Yes, mine was Jimbo. To me, it was between Jimbo and Rita. I don't think Lemon had a look in because of that outfit.
Yeah, I agree. That ruined it for her. So they read Priyanka to filth, even though I thought Kiara was much worse. But they seem to think she did the worst. And then backstage, Ilona and Scarlett are sleeping for some reason. It's like
That was so weird. Maybe they just shagged.
They were smoking and sleeping. So yeah, Jimbo gets the win, which was our choice as well. And then I also do agree with the bottom, which is Kiara versus Priyanka. And I'm especially glad it was them, as they gave what is, to me, I believe, one of the best lip syncs we've ever seen on Drag Race.
Oh my God. Do you know what I loved? I think it was quite sloppy, but it was amazing. But they literally threw everything. They threw themselves on the floor. It didn't even matter that half of their moves looked shit. And, you know, I saw more tucked arsehole than I've ever seen in my life in this episode.
That's saying something.
It was exactly, I know, and that says a lot. I've been out in Soho on a Friday night. I just think all the splits and the cartwheels and obviously a lot of it is to do with the judges' reactions, which was obviously fantastic. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and have you noticed that they are doing the full lip sync song, which they don't do on the American show? So it's a lot longer what we're seeing. They just show an edited, condensed lip sync usually, but on Canada they're showing the full 3-4 minutes.
Yes, they show the full 4 minutes, and that would be, to put in that kind of effort for that amount of time is hard. So I think they both did really well. Yeah,
I agree in terms of sloppiness. I mean, I admire when they have that much passion to throw everything but the kitchen sink. But I thought that Priyanka, the reason she won was she timed her stunts quite well, so she didn't lose the emotion and feel of the song. Whereas at one point, Kiara was straying into, oh, you're just doing a gymnastics display and you're almost not lip syncing anymore.
Kiara ended up being slightly madcap. Like, you know, it was just like, it was like almost, you know, crazy to the point of desperation. Whereas I think Priyanka managed to keep the crazy just slightly in its box. Whereas I think Kiara just was a bit too mental.
But I almost cried watching this lip sync. I've watched it a few times already. And I agree with you. What you say is that one of the things that makes it was the reactions from the judges. And I think because we're such sheep that we just, when we see people reacting, we follow suit. But Stacey looked like she was getting her fucking life in that lip sync. And
I know. She was banging the desk. Her and Brooklyn were holding hands. I mean, it was fantastic. But it's like we've said before with the stand-up comedian thing and the stand-up comedian, when there's no laughter and they put on crickets, then obviously we think, oh, well, that's not funny. But if they had a laughter track on it, we'd be like, oh, look, it's funny, and we all laugh along. True. Do you know what I mean? So this was almost the same thing as that. Their reaction to it made it better, as in like, oh my God, this is so good.
And the fact the song is so amazing, and it felt like a really perfect end to what to me was like a perfect episode. And then I personally thought it was going to be a double Shantae. A lot of people did. Did you think that, or did you think it was a clear Kiara?
I did think it would be double, but then when they said it was going to be Kiara going, I did understand that because I think it was too little too late. It was a really good performance, but it was madcap. She pulled everything out the bag. She was suddenly a comedy queen when she had done none of that for the rest of the series. I think if she'd have put that level of effort into the performance of Mariah or some of the other challenges, then they would have kept her. But I think it was too little too late.
Yeah, and I think if they kept Kiara, she probably would be going home next week anyway. So it's like, I think if you do a double Shantae, you should also bear in mind, is it worth keeping this person, or have they shown everything that they've got? But it
would have only been down to the lip sync as opposed to anything she had done in the rest of the episode, which was pretty poor.
Yeah, and it actually would have been a nice reference to like Brooklyn, because Brooklyn bombed Snatch Game and then obviously slayed the lip sync, and her and Evie Oddly both got to Shantae. So it would have played out the same as her episode. But I think that they wondered if maybe season 1 is too soon to be doing those kind of double Shantaes, because the UK version didn't do it and the US didn't do it till season 2, I think. Yeah,
and I think ultimately Priyanka is a much better drag queen, so she won at the end of the day, and her performance, even though crazy, was much more measured.
Definitely restraint, emotion. I loved it. So it took me a while, but I'm now fully standing Canada's Drag Race. Yes!
Yay! Happy days at last. They finally won over the Dyson.
So I'm trying to avoid the preview now because I think it's got too many spoilers in. I saw a bit of it, but I don't think we need to discuss it, do we? There was nothing notable.
It looked like it was going to be fun. Did you...
It looked fun.
And Stacey's new bobs, plaits in a bob looked nice. Just looked like a fun episode to come. So I'm looking forward to it. And also, but one thing I will say is that there was only 7 queens standing in a line, so that is what I thought was they are going down quite fast.
Just like you.
Damn you.
Damn you. Fuck you. We'll be back recapping Canada's Drag Race next week on are we doing it Mondays now? Yeah, Mondays. But we also have our special Pride episode this week, as we mentioned earlier. Don't miss that, because it's very, very fun, if I do say so ourselves. And until then, thank you for listening.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.